I'm Kendra Cook, your host for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest Colorado TV Translator Association. That's the Special District Association responsible for bringing the area free to access TV stations over the air by antenna. This is the community TV station for you, and if there's a news story or event information that you would like to share, call us at 970-677-4119. And if you're a business or organization, we welcome you to find out about sponsorship opportunities for banners or video segments run on the channel. This is the Thursday program for June 25th, 2020. DCTV Daily News. Let's start with a political article from the Colorado Sun, which was printed in the Journal. The title states, Democratic and Republican contests in the Congressional 3rd District mirror the party's national split. You may not know much about politics or even care or think it doesn't matter, but as you can clearly see these days, who you elect will directly impact your life. It's not something to take lightly, as the character and standing of the elected official translates to how your life is regulated by the government. So do your homework and find out about the candidates and then choose wisely. The primaries for both Democrat and Republican are open until June 30th. The article reads, who is more progressive, who is more supportive of President Donald Trump, who is more electable, and who can get things done in Washington? Those are the questions playing out in the Democratic and Republican primaries in Colorado's 3rd District, congressional district, which spans across the western slope and into Pueblo. On the Republican side is 5-term incumbent U.S. Representative Scott Tipton of Cortez, who has the backing of the GOP establishment and is fending off a challenge from far-right firebrand Lauren Boebert, a gun rights activist who owns a restaurant in Rifle where the servers are packing pistols. It's called Shooters, and if you haven't heard about it, check it out. It's been in the news before. On the Democratic side is former State Representative Diane Mitch Bush of Steamboat Springs, who lost her bid for the seat 2 years ago, supports a single-payer health care system, and is a fierce advocate for rural Colorado. She faces James Iacino, a first-time candidate and businessman who is a recent transplant to the district and has won a number of big-name endorsements. In many ways, the June 30th contests mirror the national struggle in the two major parties. The results are likely to provide a glimpse into the politics of Colorado's most competitive congressional district heading into November. Amazingly, the 3rd Congressional District, I think, has become kind of a microcosm of both political parties, said Dick Wadhams, a former chairman of the Colorado GOP whose roots are in Pueblo. Quote, you've got the establishment versus the insurgents in both cases, in both parties. We're seeing these types of primaries all over the country. Arguably, the more competitive of the two primaries in the 3rd Congressional District is the one for the Democratic nomination. Mitch Bush was elected starting in 2012 to 3 terms in the Colorado House, and before that was a Routt County Commissioner. Before she was elected to public office, she was a social scientist and activist. Mitch Bush believes that her experience makes her best suited to beat Tipton in November, if the incumbent remains on the top of that ticket, it should say. Iacino, who up until announcing his bid for Congress was running his family's Denver-based Seattle Fish Company, thinks it's time for a new voice from outside of politics as usual. Policy-wise, the rivals actually share many similar views. The key differences come in arenas of healthcare and gun safety. Mitch Bush says after Democrats triage the healthcare system by driving down prices and ensuring coverage for people with pre-existing conditions doesn't go away, quote, we do need to move towards some form of universal single-payer health system. Iacino favors a public health insurance option because he believes that, quote, people should have the right to choose their insurance. On gun control, Iacino, who talks proudly about being a gun owner, would like to see bills ensuring universal background checks and a red flag law similar to Colorado's passed on the national stage. There are no new policies that I would add on from what we've done in Colorado, he said. Mitch Bush agrees that there is a need for a national background check bill and legislation encouraging or enacting red flag laws, but is also open to an assault-style weapons ban, though she worries about the policy specifics. And on the Republican side of the aisle, Tipton is vying for his 6th term in Congress after handily winning re-election in 2018 in a year that was devastating for Colorado Republicans. He fought off Mitch Bush to win by 8 percentage points, serving as the lone bright spot in what was a tough night for the GOP. That's why it was so surprising when Boebert, who has never held public office, launched her bid to unseat him in December, saying that Tipton hasn't been enough of a fighter or enough of a conservative in Congress. She has vowed to take on Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a New York Democrat, if elected, saying she is the Republican counterpart to the popular and controversial liberal. Boebert has also attacked Tipton over congressional Republicans' failure to repeal President Barack Obama's Affordable Health Care Act. Finally, she has blasted the congressman for his votes on such bipartisan measures as the coronavirus aid package and on legislation aimed at granting legal status to agricultural workers in the country illegally and improving the farm worker visa program. Quote, "Our district deserves a fighter," Boebert said during a recent candidate forum. Her campaign declined an interview request from the Colorado Sun in the past year. However, Boebert has raised her name recognition by stepping into controversial situations and topics, such as by challenging former Democratic presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke on his gun control positions and reopening her restaurant in defiance of Colorado's coronavirus public health orders. Boebert claims that she is the pro-Trump candidate in the race, but Trump has endorsed Tipton, and Tipton is the honorary co-chair of the president's re-election campaign in Colorado. Tipton, through his campaign manager, also declined an interview request from the Sun. The congressman has been mostly silent on his far-right challenger, but Tipton has sent mailers out to voters calling Boebert, quote, "lying Lauren," and touting his endorsement from Trump. In the mailer, Tipton pushes back on her criticism of his votes, while Boebert portrayed the support of the coronavirus aid package as helping Boulder. The CARES Act provides assistance to cities and towns under 500,000, which encompasses all of the municipalities in the 3rd Congressional District. The mailer also points out that his vote on the farm workers bill was supported by agricultural interests in the district. Observers see Boebert as a threat, though not enough of one to dislodge Tipton. It's tough to know for sure because there hasn't been public polling on the race. Tipton, however, has far outraised his opponent, giving him more firepower to spread his message. The incumbent has hauled in more than $1 million in this election cycle, when Boebert has raised just over $130,000. Quote, "I think Scott Tipton has a real primary on his hands," Wadham said. "I think he'll win, but it's a serious challenge from Boebert. Even if Boebert falls short, there's a chance that she could damage Tipton's standing with his conservative base. That could affect turnout and enthusiasm come the general election November 3rd. Nevertheless, Republicans will likely start at a major advantage in the 3rd Congressional District heading into the general election. The district was handily won by Trump in 2016, and it has more registered Republicans than Democrats, though more unaffiliated voters than either major party." Larry Sabato's Crystal Ball, a University of Virginia project tracking congressional elections, says that the district is likely to remain in Republican hands after November. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the party's U.S. House re-election arm, has called the district a target, but not yet invested much money to back up that declaration. And as the election year continues to heat up, let's take a look at how the hot weather will play out into next week. Today, it's another hot sunny day with a high near 89 degrees or higher, with south-southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, increasing to 10 to 15 miles an hour this afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear and a low around 56 degrees, with south-southwest winds continuing anywhere from 5 to 15 miles an hour. For Friday, the heat continues mostly sunny with a high near 88 degrees or higher, east-southeast winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour, shifting back southwest, and into Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 55 degrees with west-southwest light winds, but we'll have some gusts to 20 miles an hour on Friday night. For the weekend, Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 86 degrees with light and variable winds becoming west 5 to 10 miles an hour in the morning. Again, those winds could gust as high as 20 miles an hour for Saturday. Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 56 degrees. Sunday, the trend starts to cool back a bit, mostly sunny with a high near 85 degrees. Still breezy, with Sunday night partly cloudy and a low around 57. And it looks like a red flag warning may go into effect for Sunday and into Monday. And Monday again sunny with a high near 81 degrees and breezy. Apparently dark according to the mist graphic for the day. And Monday night partly cloudy with a low around 51 degrees and even cooler for next Tuesday, sunny with a high near 77 degrees. Tuesday night mostly clear and a low around 48. And now back to our news. Another Colorado Sun report as printed in the Durango Herald. Here's further coverage of what's happening coronavirus-wise, according to the official word from the state capitol. Public health departments across Colorado are warning of a dangerous trend. COVID-19 is spreading among young people. A quick side note that fear and stress are also triggers for health issues and dis-ease. So, in my humble opinion, the fear-mongering needs to be tempered, the article continues. In Boulder, the virus was spread at a number of large gatherings on University Hill. In Eagle County, infections increased after teens hung out in the glitzy Roaring Fork Valley. In Telluride, one get-together exposed as many as 36 young people to the disease. Quote, a young person is most likely not going to get very ill from COVID-19, although some do, said Shauna Gusettis, a spokeswoman for Boulder County Public Health, which has tracked 181 infections among University of Colorado students. Quote, but the risk is really when they are going to work, when they're going to the grocery store, or they're walking on the sidewalk and they stop to talk to somebody. Those are the times that the virus can be transmitted to somebody who is older and at more risk of having serious consequences, end quote. Again, a side note that it doesn't it seem to be common sense that if you have health conditions that put you at risk, those are the population that need to stay home and be helped to remain as healthy as possible. Continuing on, the article states, the number of new coronavirus cases in Colorado may have generally slowed even as the state eases restrictions on people's movement after months of demanding that they stay at home. But those who are now getting the disease have tended to be under 30 and are possibly to blame for a slight uptick in cases, as reported last week. Quote, we have seen a modest increase in cases among younger Coloradans over the last few weeks, said Ian Dixon, a spokesman for the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. Over the past 25 days, people under 30 accounted for about 40% of Colorado's coronavirus cases, that according to CDPHE. For the 25 days before that, it was about 31%. The median age of people with confirmed coronavirus infections is hovering at about 32. In March and into mid-April, that median was about 50. This increase could be due to a number of factors, so we can't attribute it to any one thing, Dixon said. Testing has become more widely available, so more young people, including people with mild or no symptoms, are getting tested. That alone could account for the increase. It's also possible that older Coloradans are following public health advice and exercising more caution, reducing their share of the cases. The risk of having more young people becoming infected is that they may not realize they have caught coronavirus, Dr. Rochelle Hurley said, Colorado State's epidemiologist, and she says that while about 40% of those infected may be asymptomatic, that rate is above 50% for younger people. Quote, younger individuals are more likely to have asymptomatic infection, she said at a news conference on Wednesday. I think that reinforces the need for those gatherings among young people to be small and for precautions to be taken. Governor Jared Polis said that the upcoming July 4th weekend will be an especially important time to stay vigilant. If younger Coloradans aren't careful, they could be putting not only the general public at risk, but also their loved ones. We don't live in generational isolation, he said. People have aunts and uncles and parents and older friends and colleagues. In Boulder, a spike in coronavirus cases has been blamed on partying CU students. Gusettis said that the majority of the 181 students who have tested positive since June 5th contracted the disease at, quote, large social gatherings. And Gusettis says that she gets it. It's tough to stay away from friends during the pandemic, but the reality is parties amid coronavirus are a public health agency's worst nightmare. A positive test among one attendee can mean hours of tracing work, not to mention the economic impacts of people having to stay away from work because they are sick or in quarantine. In a worst-case scenario, someone may die because of the disease spread. It hurts all of us, Gusettis said. Officials in Boulder have been so alarmed by the increase in cases that they enacted new restrictions on gatherings to prevent further spread and announced plans for stricter enforcement of the state's 10-person gathering limit. And a side note, this is Boulder they're talking about. Additionally, 12 houses, including some belonging to fraternities, have been identified as, quote, chronic violators of the city's restrictions. If they continue to flout restrictions, the city says it could revoke rental licenses, forcing tenants to vacate the properties. Quote, we will not allow the lives of our community at large to be further jeopardized by poor choices made by a few, Boulder City Manager Jane Broughtingham said in a written statement. The good news is that young people in Boulder appear to be heeding the warnings. While the county hit a record high 45 new cases on June 17th, on Tuesday, there were just 3 new cases. And in Telluride, a 17-year-old tested positive for COVID-19 after going to a party with roughly 3 dozen teenagers on June 12th, prompting health officials to issue a letter warning parents about the potential exposure of their children and asking them to talk to their kids about how to prevent the disease's spread. We realize that teenagers are social beings, and this pandemic is cramping their style, Dr. Sharon Grundy, San Miguel County's medical officer, and Grace Franklin, the county's public health director, said in the letter. In the following days, the county announced that a 16-year-old and 3 19-year-olds were among 7 new positive cases, though not necessarily related to the party. In Eagle County, public health officials have identified a cluster of 11 new cases among teenagers. Those cases are tied to private social gatherings in the Roaring Fork Valley, they say. County officials initially said that some of the infected teens have been unwilling to self-isolate or share information with health investigators that could be used to slow the spread of the virus. This is not about personal risk tolerance. This is about making decisions that help protect the community, Heath Harmon, director of Eagle County Public Health and Environment, said in his statement. After a few days of increased attention caused by the new cases, however, contact tracing has been easier for Eagle County officials as the elevated profile of the cluster has made sick individuals more willing to help. Quote, "We don't want anyone to feel stigmatized for catching highly infectious diseases," Eagle County spokeswoman Chris Woodlack said. "This is a pandemic. We just need the help afterwards." But even with the willingness of individuals to aid in contact tracing, it is inherently difficult to keep track of all of the individuals young people come in contact with. Teenagers are more likely to have come in contact with a higher number of people, Woodlack said. Furthermore, younger people are more likely to exhibit milder symptoms and not realize that they are sick. The nature of being young means a lot of time you've got more social contacts, Woodlack said. The Denver area, too, has seen poor behavior and a rise in infections among younger people. Quote, "Certainly there's been some of that. Denver has not been immune to that," said Bob McDonald, executive director of the Denver Department of Public Health and Environment. "But we've addressed it quickly and continue to respond to those concerns when they come in." Ashley Richter, communicable disease epidemiology manager at Tri-County Health Department, which covers Adams, Arapahoe, and Douglas counties, said that while they haven't necessarily seen large gatherings causing outbreaks among young people, they are seeing increased infections among people under 30. "Our data is showing a higher incidence of disease within individuals aged 20 to 30, she said. "We definitely are seeing individuals who are in that younger age group spreading to older individuals and spreading it to each other." She added, quote, "We're not in the clear yet. I know the data is showing that for Colorado, cases are trending down. That does not mean that the cases aren't gone." There you have it. Wash your hands, keep your immune system healthy, and deal in personal responsibility so that we don't move to a communitarianism society. Look it up. It appears to be the direction that those who are so vocal are wanting to move our representative republic into, and at a rapid pace. The Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of June 15th through the 21st, 2020. A tree fire caused by a lightning strike was extinguished by Dove Creek Fire Department, Pleasant View Fire Department, Egner Fire Department, Forest Service, Hot Shots, BLM, and DFPC. Dispatch took a call of possible gunshots being fired in Rico. Deputies responded from San Miguel and could not locate the perpetrator. Dolores County deputies were responding when they came across the loading pen fire on 145 going towards Rico. Montezuma County was already aware of it. An owner was contacted to remove buckets of waste from their property. A report of an accident at the senior center was taken, and this case is under investigation. A report of a reckless driver on Highway 491. The deputy was unable to locate the vehicle. Fire department is still mopping up Sharps Creek fire as of June 17th. I believe that's 100% contained. Town residents called and reported a town road being blocked for a little bit due to delivery of gravel. A report of a town resident's bushes growing over into a neighbor's driveway. A caller reported a subject had capsized a canoe at Groundhog Lake and was drowning. Prior to arrival of emergency services, the subjects self-rescued and all checked out fine by medical personnel. Assisted Dolores County Search and Rescue on a search for a missing camper in the Salter Y location. The subject was located and was not injured, and the Sheriff's Office responded to a report of a security alarm going off at a local business. Again, thank you to our Sheriff's Office and all first responders who help navigate our community through the daily challenges. And today's High Canyon Country happenings, a rundown on local announcements. The countywide open burn ban is in effect till further notice. It's dry and no rain in sight, so please be careful with any type of grilling or power tools outside. A burn barrel must have adequate grate containment on top. Contained barbecue grills are allowed. Keep yourself and your neighbors safe from fire hazards during the season. The June 27th Junior Rodeo has been officially canceled, but they are working on the setup for the rodeos to take place in July. To follow all the details, go to their Facebook page, which is Dolores County Junior Rodeo online. And DCDC is offering an emergency loan application for local businesses in the county. For details and to discuss the possibilities for partial forgiveness terms as well, call them at 970-677-2283. And in Dove Creek, you may have already noticed the new CDOT highway crossing areas for OHV signage. The town made a resolution last week at the last meeting for the two crossings of the highway that you may only cross the highway at 4th Street, Gyrene at milepost 61.45 and or at 5th Street at milepost 61.70. Please be safe and abide by all the rulings. And celebrating the July 4th Independence Day in Dove Creek, though pick and hoe festivities in the park are canceled till next year, the Dove Creek Chamber is hosting the full 5-piece band Crossroads, moving the venue to the patio at the State Line Bar and Grill from 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. on Saturday the 4th, with possible special guests for the national anthem. Enjoy a red, white, and blue fun time with a wide range of music to enjoy. You might want to stay and watch the DCVFD fireworks from there. They'll be starting at dark 30 in town sometime after 9:30 p.m., while patriotic music plays at the line. Looking forward to a local peaceful assembly or parade on Saturday morning, and perhaps cruising Main Street safely with personal responsibility before the fireworks. All of the local businesses appreciate your shopping locally to continue to help each and every one make it through these difficult times. God bless Dove Creek, and God bless America. And I post these High Canyon Country happenings and links to stories on our Facebook page, which is DCTV Daily News. You can also watch the program replay there, along with news links and stories of local interest. And you too can share other events or news there and join in on the conversation. This is your local community TV station, so if you have something you'd like to share, email us at dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station 970-677-4119. Thanks for tuning in to DCTV Daily News. Programs are broadcast Monday through Friday with replays online on our YouTube channel or DCTV Daily News page on Facebook. And if you like the program, please do like and follow us on Facebook and share it with your friends and family. This has been a production of DCTV for the DCTV Daily News program out of Dove Creek, Colorado, USA. I'm Kendra Cook. Again, thank you for watching.